First of all, what's Sonic Highway for you in this moment of your career, for you as a human being, and for you maybe also as a father that has to take some time off from his family?
Right. Well, this whole project started about 2 years ago. We had finished touring for the last Foo Fighters record, and I made a documentary film called Sound City, which was really exciting. It was really fun. I'd never done that before, and I found it to be really easy and rewarding. So I wanted to do more of it, and that became sort of the beginning of this whole Sonic Highways process, because I knew that I could go and tell the stories of all of these different cities and all these different studios, but I needed to make a Foo Fighters record too. So I thought, well, we'll record a song in each one of these places all over the country. And then the concept started growing and building more, that it was really important to me to make the connection between these cities and these people, because the history of American music is like a big family tree. You know, it starts hundreds of years ago, and you can connect all of these people together by certain things. You can connect Buddy Guy to the guitar player of Cheap Trick, to Public Enemy, to Soundgarden, or Joan Jett, to LL Cool J, whatever. Like, everyone's kind of connected by something. And it was important for me to try to tell that story the best I could, so that the next generation of musicians have this reference, so that they can come back and look at it as a real history, you know?
Was it difficult to schedule the whole thing? I mean, did you have enough time to spend with the people you wanted to?
It was hard, but if you're patient and passionate and really driven to do things, I think that as long as you're patient, things usually happen. And I would say, I mean, I interviewed like 100 people, so I would send each one an email, whether it was Dolly Parton or whoever. I would say, hi, my name's Dave. I'm in a band called Foo Fighters. I made this movie Sound City. Now I have this project called Sonic Highways. I'd like to interview for it. And the logistics of putting it all together, sometimes it was really just overwhelming. There's just so much to deal with. But once we finished shooting, because now we're almost finished editing everything, now I realize how much we've actually done. Like, when we finished putting the first episode together, it's an hour long. It's like a movie, you know? And I watched it like, oh my God, I made a movie. And then I watched the next episode. I'm like, holy shit, I made 2 movies. And then I thought, oh my God, I made 8 of these things. And there's so many people and there's so much information that that's when I started to realize how much I'd done, because it's been 2 years, you know? But I was never discouraged. I mean, it never stopped me from wanting to finish it. I always thought, like, you know, we control everything we do anyway. We're our own boss, and we have our own label, and this is my film company, and so if it doesn't work, then just don't do it. But it always works. Yeah.
Was it also an interior journey for you through your different past and present experience?
Yeah, I mean, when we were choosing the cities, we first were really looking for cities that we had a personal connection to, because as much as we wanted to tell the story of all of these different cities, there had to be a reason why we were going there. So Chicago was the first place I ever saw a band perform, and it changed my life. It inspired me to become a musician. So that kind of becomes the theme of that episode. Washington, D.C., that's where I grew up. And so that was a music community that I was raised in. And I'm still very much a Washington, D.C. musician in a lot of what I do. Los Angeles, Pat Smear's born and raised in L.A. Seattle, where I joined Nirvana and then started the Foo Fighters. So there were cities where there was a real personal connection to them. And I mean, it's important, I think, to show that human side of music. Like, sometimes people think music is just like equipment and television shows and like logistic things, you know, when really music's really simple. You know, it can just be a person with an instrument in the corner of the room, or it can be a child with a beat up old guitar in their bedroom or basement or garage. And I think when you strip away all of the really the stuff on the outside, and you get to the core of it, that's where people get really inspired. And so in telling your personal story, I think sometimes it shows people that that people are just people and everyone can relate to that.
Yeah, because I think that general media saw this project as something strange, but there's nothing more natural for a musician than living in the studio, playing with different tools and
yeah, it was
like
funny when I first went to talk to a bunch of different networks about doing the show. Nobody really understood it. I think they thought like, oh, it's a musical reality show or something. And I could see it in my head, like I could feel it in my heart. I knew what the show was going to be, and I'd really try to like inspire people or really try to get people as excited as I could. And some people couldn't see it. And finally, the people at HBO understood. And then once I really did it and they saw it, then they really understood. Then they realized like, holy shit, this is fucking great. Like nobody's really done this yet, and it's really exciting. So, I mean, it's a hard thing to explain to people, but then once you see it, it's something different, I think, you know. And for me, I love that, you know, especially in America. In America, there's not a lot of music on TV. You have song contest shows, and then you have late night shows where there's a talk show. And then at the very end of that, you get one band that plays one song. And that's not enough, I don't think. And so I always thought that, you know, as we travel around the world, whether it's in Belgium or it's in the UK or Germany or Italy, Australia and Japan, all over the world, there's a lot of music on television, whether it's an orchestra playing, whether it's a live festival performance or whatever it is. Music is a bigger part of culture in some countries than in America. And it's kind of disappointing to me because you would think that the musicians and the music industry would feel obligated to promote music more, like show more music on television. Like, I mean, to watch Jools Holland or to watch the Glastonbury Festival on the BBC, I mean, that's going out to the entire country. And ultimately what it does, it gets the whole country so much more involved or excited about music. And so I would go home to America and it's like, MTV doesn't fucking play music anymore. It's a bunch of reality shows about pregnant teenagers or whatever it is. And then that's music television. And it's disappointing to me because that's not inspiring. That's not doing what MTV did to me when I was a kid. When I watched MTV as a kid and saw a Van Halen video, I thought, I want to be in a rock band. You're not going to get that from MTV anymore. You're just not, you know? So it's just sort of like, it's perpetuating its own demise rather than making it better. And so I felt like, you know, there were people that I talked to in making this who said like, you know, people don't care about music. You know that, right? I said, well, I fucking do. So watch this. And that's what I try to do, you know.
The last one, so probably the next highway will go overseas.
I hope so. I mean, as we came up with the concept, I imagined, well, originally I thought that we were going to do this all over the world. I thought we'll do it in Reykjavik, we'll do it in New York, we'll do it in Vancouver, we'll go to Mexico City and tell the story of music from all these different places. And then someone said, you know how fucking expensive that's going to be? I said, okay. So then we decided to focus just on American music. But I thought that every country could have the same show. Every place around the world could have a band from that place do just as we're doing to uncover the history of music in the cities and how the environment influences the music, because it just does. It doesn't matter what, who or where, the environment definitely influences the sound of the music. And this is what's interesting, because that's where you get the range and diversity of the history of world music, you know? So I would encourage other people to do the same thing. Because also, if you think about how history is passed down to other people, it's always been in storytelling. Someone tells a story to someone else so that they can like pass on the history of something. And whether it's just a verbal history or it's a documentary film, it's important, I think, so that down the line, if someone wants to know, then it's there, they can learn. They might not have to know, but if they want it, then it's there.
We're gonna try our best.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Yeah.